Have you ever noticed how crowded in Hawaii it's gotten lately? Always get traffic and no place for park my truck. That's why I always stay late. With more and more tourists arriving each year, it's no surprise that Hawaii has gotten a little bit crowded, especially on Oahu. Maybe there's a restaurant or a beach or a place that you really want to go to, but by the time you get there, there's no parking or there's a line out the door. So what do you do? Bruh, I give up already. No can. Bruh, I just staying home already. So in this video, I thought I'd offer 3 tips on how to beat those crowds in Hawaii. And it's no guarantee, but I think it's a pretty good strategy. Oh yeah, bro, what you know? One secret spot. The first tip is do it early. What? Bruh, I don't like wake up early. I stay tired. I like go sleep. If you want to beat the crowds, you have to do things early. I found that the best time to do anything in Hawaii is super early, like between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. You see, back in the day when there weren't that many tourists, the best time to go and run errands and beat the crowds was during the workday because everybody was at work. I've heard so many local people say that they try to get their errands done in Honolulu by 1 p.m. because after that, the traffic gets really bad. But now with the high number of visitors, the only real time for peace and quiet is early in the morning. And if you try to go to Costco in Honolulu, just forget it. Forget it. There's no good time. Now you might be thinking, bruh, why I gotta wake up early for? I stay on vacation. And that's true. You can do whatever you want. But if you're like me, maybe you don't want to battle the crowds or scramble to find that last parking spot. Maybe you want to enjoy some tranquility and quiet and peace. And maybe you want to experience a lifestyle different from the rat race back home. And see, the thing is, you as the visitor, you have a huge advantage. It's the time difference. Hey, what you talking about? If you're coming from the mainland, you're already ahead in time by at least 3 to 6 hours. So use that as an advantage. Wake up at your normal time, and it's already early morning here in Hawaii. My advice is get out there early, enjoy what you can without the crowds, and then come back, relax, have lunch, and maybe take a nap. So you want to enjoy hiking and nature and that quietness out there. That's great. You should go early. My favorite time to go hiking is 7 a.m. or earlier, and that's because most of the local people aren't up and most of the tourists aren't up yet. So I can go up there, enjoy the nice peaceful trails without too many people, and then by the time I get back, that's when most people are starting and there's no parking and it's just a mad scramble. You want to go shopping? That's great. You can go early, right when the mall's open. Waikele is a great shopping outlet. It's on the west side. If you go right when it opens, there's plenty of parking and you don't have to worry about it. But try go right around noon, it's gonna be tough to find parking. Hey, what you gonna buy? 1 Coach wallet, 3 Kate Spade bags, another Michael Kors purse. I'm just saying that if you want to enjoy some peace and quiet or some island life, the only time that you can really experience that, because it's so crowded now, is when there are less people around and less cars on the road. Go for a morning walk on the beach and compare that to the beach in the middle of the day or the afternoon. It's completely different. And if you have kids, okay, I completely understand it's probably hard to get up early, but you're probably gonna end up at the hotel, pool, or Waikiki Beach anyway. Bruh, just joke. You gotta love those little buggers. The next tip is do it in the rain. What? Stay raining? Bruh, the weatherman never say nothing. Hawaii's weather is great most of the year, but it does rain quite a bit in certain areas in the state. That's how we get water for when we stay thirsty. And when it rains, people tend to not want to be outside. Obviously, safety and health are important. If it's dangerous out there or you're sick, you don't want to be going out there in the rain. But if it's only raining a little bit, slightly, you might want to chance it and try to tough it out. Bring a jacket and umbrella and get out there and have a good time. I remember going to Kailua Beach Park when it was raining just a little bit, and there was actually parking. Kailua Beach Park, people, there was actually parking. Granted, it was really windy and pretty cold and the water wasn't as clear as it normally would be, but still, there was parking. Now, where you want to avoid when it rains is the freeway, because for whatever reason, whenever you sprinkle some rain on the road, it's like people in Hawaii forget how to drive. Oh, stay rainy. Gotta pump the brake. Obviously, you want to drive carefully, but you don't have to go 10 miles below the speed limit to get there safely. And while you're out there in the rain, don't forget to enjoy the rainbows. The last tip is to do the math. Bro, what you mean? I already went to take algebra in high school. So doing the math is a very personal thing, and it's different for everyone. But I think it's important to evaluate how much your time is worth when you're visiting places like Hawaii or living in places like Hawaii. Because no matter how early you wake up or how rainy it is outside, there are just some places that you can't avoid the crowds and the lines, and you just gotta bear with it. And waiting is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's good to practice some patience, but I also think it's worth evaluating whether something is worth your time or not, especially if you only have a limited amount of time. Oh, you want an example? Glad you asked. I love my wife, and she wanted to go to a certain bubble tea restaurant in Kalihi that serves really good bubble tea. You know, it's one of those trendy places that's really popular on Instagram. The place was so popular that we couldn't get a parking spot in front of it. We had to actually go around to the other side of the shopping center, and we got one of the last parking spots way down there. So we walk in the store, and the line is right there. Like, it's like the front door, you open it, and then the back of the line starts right when you walk in. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. There were at least 15 to 20 people in the line in front of us, and soon as I turned around, there was a line going outside the door on the sidewalk. We stood in line for 35 minutes just to order, and then after we ordered and paid, it was another 10 minutes or so to get our bubble tea. That's a total of 45 minutes for a bubble tea. 45 minutes. You know, I did it for my wife, and I know that she really appreciated it. She really liked it. But I had to ask myself, was that worth it? Was that worth my time? Not only am I paying for the drinks with my money, but I'm also paying it with my time for being there, for waiting. And I had to ask myself whether or not that was worth it. So was the quality of that bubble tea worth 45 minutes of my time? So all that to say, I think it's good to evaluate the additional costs when trying to figure out what to do, where to go, what to eat. Because it's more than just money. Maybe you just don't want to deal with the crowds at a popular place, or the parking is super confusing, which I completely understand here sometimes. So maybe you don't want to deal with that. That's okay. You don't have to go to all the recommended popular places. In Hawaii, there are a lot of similar places. So if you can't go to that one, there's other options. I say go where you want to go and try whatever you want to try. But I think it's important to also factor in the time. But maybe it's just me and I value my time differently. That's possible. Bro, I see you. You so lolo sometimes. Thanks for watching this video, and aloha.